to another episode of The Follow-Up. I am Eden, and this is my dad Noah, and every week we sit on my bed and have a conversation about something we want to talk about. And this week, we're going to talk about the NBA Finals.
So it's a good day to do this. We're doing this on Sunday, and
Game 4 was...
You're interrupting me for.
Okay.
Game 5 is Monday, so we have a day off, so we're not recording this, just a few hours before the game, and then these come out on Monday, so...
And Game 4 was Friday.
It was Friday, yes.
Right.
And because they were going... If Game 5 was also in Boston, they would have played on Sunday, but they're going back to San Francisco for Game 5. It used to be, in the finals, 2-3-2. Home team, the higher seed would get the first 2 at home, then 3 on the road, and then 2 back home. Because you get 4 out of the potential 7 games. Now, then, I forget when it was, but they switched to 2-2-1-1-1. I like the 2-3-2 format. But anyway, is what it is. So what's on your mind with the finals?
Well,
Besides it being being on so late at night.
Let's start with the players.
Okay.
Steph Curry been amazing.
Amazing. And his game in Game 4, the 43-point game on the road in Boston, must-win game, reminded me of when I was in the building for Game 6 Eastern Conference Finals 2012 for Heat Celtics, when LeBron and the Heat needed that win, and then they went back home and won in 7. There was a 45-point night from LeBron, and then I remember telling Mom that after she gave birth to you, I said, that is now the physically most amazing thing I've ever seen in my life. And before that was LeBron Game 6, 2012 in Boston. So Mom giving birth surpassed LeBron's performance in Game 6.
Now, do you think that Steph Curry passed that, or no, because LeBron scored more points?
It had nothing to do with more points. I think LeBron's was more impressive because they still hadn't won a title yet. So they lost in 2011 to Dallas. LeBron joined Miami and joined Dwayne Wade, and Chris Bosh went there. They were the big 3, and they were talking like they were going to win every championship for the rest of their careers. Then Dirk and the Mavs won in 2011, beat them. And then, so if LeBron hadn't had that performance in Game 6 on the road in Boston, they would have been out of the playoffs before even reaching the finals. And LeBron still hadn't won a title. And he'd been in the league since 2003, gotten to the finals in 7, and then 11 and 12. Who knows how we would be talking about LeBron now. So I think there was much more pressure on LeBron then. But not to say all the pressure's on Steph with this year's team, because he's really their only offensive option.
Yeah,
it's really, and Steph is what I think, and you can tell me what do you, okay, and I'll just ask you, what do you like most about watching Steph?
is that he's just so impressive. Like, it's not just like the same shot every time. He's so great at 3-pointers, and those are really hard shots. So it's really fun watching like where he's shooting them from, and like just how great he is.
Sure. And the other day you asked me how tall is he, and I said he's about 6'3". Everybody guarding him is bigger, and yet he continues to do this against bigger guys. And I think
like Marcus Smart,
Sure.
and Jason Tatum, and Jaylen Brown, they're all taller than him.
Yeah, all taller.
Right.
Yeah, and Steph just works so hard. And I think what makes Steph so likable is that so many other people can relate to him. It's tough to relate to LeBron because he's 6'8", 260 or 270 or 280. But just human beings just aren't like that. Steph is in incredible shape, strong, fit, can run forever. But you look at Steph and you think he's just a bit more relatable.
Yeah.
Yeah. Does the timing of the games bother you that they start, except if it's on a Sunday when they start at 9 o'clock?
Yes, it bothers me because I like watching the games, a little bit, and it bothers me so much when I can't watch them.
Yeah.
Like,
So you
'cause
got-
it's very annoying.
Yeah, so there is a thought that does this hurt a generation of NBA fans because they can't stay up and watch these games? They were on really late when I was a kid too, and when I was that little, I don't remember staying up that late. Then get into junior high, high school, then I'd stay up a lot later and watch those games with Jordan in the '90s and watching those games much later. But yeah, I mean, game says it starts at 9 o'clock, doesn't tip off till about 9:07, 9:15.
And it's at 12 o'clock.
Right. And
that's the
yeah. So all right. So how do you like to consume it then in the morning?
By watching the YouTube NBA 10-minute highlights.
Mm-hmm.
Really fun. Just great highlights from the game.
Yeah, and then they do. Oh, I need to look. The league used to do it, but I'm sure they still do it. I haven't looked. They usually do like a mini movie on the game. So the highlights are just the broadcast highlights. The mini movie is NBA Entertainment, and I have a lot of friends who produce this and video it. They take all their cameras, behind the scenes, sound from players, coaches, pregame, midgame, postgame, and then they put it all together in more of a storytelling way. Like when you're watching the game, you can't really, when you're watching the highlights of the game, you can see in the corner, you can see the score and kind of get the story of the game, but you don't really get the full story of the game.
Right. And I think something about the finals that's really special about it is the atmosphere of the fans.
Agreed. Yeah. Why?
Because, like, let's say Golden State won in Golden State. Like, I meant in San Francisco. Like, the crowds just go wild and there's so much, like, applause. And it's really fun to just, like, hear it.
Yeah, it is. That the intensity is at a whole nother level. It feels different from any other game. You can feel it in the crowd. You can feel when it's a major moment. Broadcasters have to be conscious of that so as to not try to fight the crowd, meaning trying to raise their voice over the crowd. Sometimes you just want to lay out and let the crowd's enthusiasm tell the story, because everyone has just seen what happened. You don't always have to say something as a broadcaster, so you just lay out and let the crowd take it. But what do you think of, so the Boston crowd got criticism from some of the Warriors players about how they've been cursing at the Warriors players. They've been using the F word and using that before Draymond's name, because Draymond is a player that you like to have on your own team sometimes, but you don't like to play against him because he's an agitator. And then the Warriors players are complaining that you shouldn't be cursing, you've got kids around, and then Draymond cursed on the podium with his little kid next to him. So what do you think of what fans should be allowed to say, not allowed to say to players during a game?
I think, like, the players have to get used to hearing this, because the fans shouldn't do this, but, like, it's just what fans do. Like, they're probably big fans of the Boston Celtics, and they want them to win the finals. So it's just, like, but I think it's just, like, the fans' reality, really.
Yeah.
They shouldn't do it, but it's just what the fans do.
And I agree. And look, growing up in Philadelphia, I heard it. Yeah.
A lot.
Yeah.
On here.
And especially against when the Knicks were in town, Eagles games against the Cowboys were the worst. But yeah, I remember Grandpa just looking at me saying, "You know not to say these things." So yeah.
Just let them say it.
Right. It's fans. It's short for fanatic. So you're wild about your team. So
is that why it's called the Philly Fanatic?
Mm-hmm.
Because it's like Philly.
He's the ultimate fan. Yeah.
Yeah.
So they're not, as long as the fans aren't threatening the players or harassing the players' families who are in the crowd. Players themselves say all sorts of things to each other. They've heard it all.
Yeah, and they do it to other players too.
Yeah. I
mean,
like, And I don't like how some of the Warriors players have said, I've got kids in the crowd, they shouldn't hear these things. Like, don't hide behind your kid
Yeah.
in a sporting event when you know full well this is going to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, so it's 2-2. This podcast is going to be coming out on Monday ahead of Game 5 back in San Francisco.
Who do you think will win?
I was going to ask you that. Who do you think's going to win? Who do you think's going to win Game 5, and who do you think's going to win the whole series?
What's 2-2?
2-2, so Game 5 in Golden State, or in San Francisco. Game 6 will be on Thursday in Boston. And then Game 7, if there's a Game 7, it'll be back in San Francisco, I think on Sunday. On Father's Day.
Golden State.
So you think Golden State wins tonight? Wins Monday night, and then wins the whole series?
Yes. What do I get?
I have no idea. I'll agree with you.
Okay.
I'll agree with you. I like talking basketball with you.
Me too.
Fun. I'm glad you like it.
And I have so many cards.
Yeah, but I'm glad you like it. Yeah. All right. I love you.